Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma greetings to you all. To begin with, let's pay our respect to our teacher, who is the Lord Buddha, the worthy one, the enlightened one, the supremely enlightened one. In so doing, as always, we show our deep gratitude to our noble teacher. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. You are all very welcome to our second session of Friends Retreat 2025. Today, our topic is seeking the truth in an ignorant world. Perhaps you could feel there is kind of a paradoxical taxonomy between these two key terms. When I first say seeking the truth, but in an ignorant world, how we can connect these two concepts perhaps, or these two natures by and large. However, our aim today is to explore more in depth what the truth is that we are looking for, but indeed we are looking for it in an ignorant and kind of more illusionary world. And it is of course followed by our guided session of mindfulness meditation. First of all, I was just wondering whether you have any thoughts regarding the truth and ignorance. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any kind of insights put into that? Ignorance and truth. How do we see the difference or the connection, perhaps disconnection? What do you feel about it? Then let me explain in brief first. You know, ignorance. There is a canonical Pali term for it. Perhaps you should have come across this term because that's why it's widespread. Avijjā. Avijjā, ignorance. Navijjā, not understanding. So that's ignorance. But then it gives rise to another question. What is not understanding? What we are not understanding in this world, in which that is to be understood by the wise. Of course, this leads us to see another dimension or another aspect of ignorance or non-ignorance, that is the truth, because these are kind of two opposite sides, right? The truth and ignorance. So, ignorance, it comes from Pali, from the word avijjā. Then the truth itself stems from another canonical term called satya. So the term has been translated into English as the truth whatsoever. But what are these concepts? There is a wonderful discourse, if you are willing to see and looking to detail, Vijja and Avijjā suttas, included in the gradual sayings of the Buddha, our Sanyutta Nikaya, and Satya Sanyutta, the chapter of the Satya, the chapter of the truth, or the section of the truth. That's marvelous. The Buddha, who is our teacher, explained very well what is avijjā, what is ignorance in the world. So he said, avijjā avijjāti bhikkhave katamaca bhikkhave avijjā. Many people say, oh, this is ignorance, he is ignorant. or he is foolish, or he is stupid, based on commonsensical knowledge about the world, how the world works out. But what is ignorance in this context? And Kittavatānuko bhante avijjā gato hoti. For what reason someone has gone to ignorance? Ignorance, and there is one person or the multitude of people who have gone to ignorance, by which it means that people are deluded by something. Buddha said, dukkhe aññāna, the unknowing of the suffering. Dukkha samudaya anaññāna, the unknowing of the cause of suffering. Dukkha nirodha anaññāna, the unknowing of the cessation of suffering. Dukkha nirodha gamini patipadaya anaññāna, the unknowing of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Put simply, you can see that here, ignorance simply means not understanding or not realizing the suffering and its cause, cessation, and the path. The Four Noble Truths, in simply. However, when I think about it, we all know this as kind of informative knowledge. But the Dhamma is not itself confined with just mere informative or definitive knowledge. We need to see as a direct experience within us, more experiential learning. That's how we should understand the cause, the suffering, the cause, cessation, and also the path. As long as we do not understand this truth, absolutely we are ignorant. Therefore, we tend to perform all forms of unskillful and unwholesome deeds, and we are obviously committed to many bad, cruel, and guilty thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Why? We do not understand the truth as it is. On the one hand, I explain this as ignorance, then on the other hand, I would explain and elaborate on it, what's meant by satya. Absolutely, it is the opposite side. Understanding suffering. What is avijjā, or the satya? The truth, that's understanding suffering. The cause of suffering, the cessation, and its path. In all, I am trying to tell you that we don't have to lapse into just kind of theoretical graspings or underpinnings within that. Why? We can easily go into detail what suffering is, the cause, the desire, and the alleviation of desire, and practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. We all know that. But my problem is that how far we have practiced and experienced this nature, the truth, and this ignorance. That's our problem. How far we witness it, how far we see it and recognize it when it really comes into us. When the anger or desire or animosity really comes into us, just in the blink of an eye, whether we can realize it, whether we can recognize it. If we cannot, then there is a problem. Actually, these are the kinds of nuts and bolts we need to delve into in meditation. That's why I'm always telling people mindfulness meditation is a tool, or perhaps it is a technique to recognize that at least we are deluded by something, or at least to see and make a self-assumption or kind of preliminary understanding, I cannot see that as it is because there is something wrong with me. There is something wrong with my thoughts and understanding in everyday life. alas and alack, we do not see it every day. Only occasionally we see and we embrace the beauty of calm and peace, like just attending these sessions and and engaging with such spiritual activities time to time. But it is not common in our day-to-day living. That's why I am supposing that we are living in an ignorant world. People are deluded by those unwholesome thoughts. We are very fast and we are rapidly moving. Then we cannot see this truth as it is. That is a nice story that I would like to share with you today. Why? This indeed sheds light on the key message of this topic. This story, I think I learned it ages ago based on Theravada canonical treatises. The story is called Turtle's Step. Have you all seen a turtle? The nature of a turtle? Yes. What is the nature? Turtle. The story has two animals actually, monkey and turtle. Can you tell me in brief how about monkeys are? And what about turtles are? How much they are different from each? What is kind of more specific characteristics belong to each other? Would you like to tell me? Yes? Monkeys? Yeah, great. Okay, brilliant. So that is the whole message. One day there was a monkey. So monkey is also jumping and running fast and rapidly moving from tree to tree. So one day he just spotted, oh, there is a turtle who is going very slowly. No fast enough. Oh, just walk very slow. Then he asked, oh, my dear friend, why do you walk very slow? You are really slow. Why? Is there any problem with you? Then turtle said, no, not at all. I am seeing the world. I feel the breeze and I would never miss the beauty around me. Then I walk slow. But you are always bumping into certain things and always rushing off the feet. Then there is no space for you to see the beauty around you. Can you see that? Even in your life. When you are fast moving, when you are engulfed with a high volume of liberal things in your everyday life, then there is no room for you to spend some time with you and enjoy the beauty with your life. Then, what it means to you, you cannot see the truth that lies behind this scene, that lies in depth of your mind, and you are not conscious enough to see that. The more you fast, the less you see. The more you slow, the more you see. If you want to see to a wider extent and deeper in your life, then just be slow. Just make a little slow in your life. Then you can see something that you haven't seen ever and ever. That's the problem. Some times ago, I had still he is one of my friends. So he was an scientist, and he used to send me emails saying that, oh, I'm always busy and happy. I'm always busy and happy. And it is very hard to hear from people, oh, busy and happy. When they say busy, that's very hectic and frantic in their own nature. But it's okay to be busy, but with happiness. But if you are just busy, and if you are with bunch of work and to hand on, and if you are surrounded by and disturbed by many duties and obligations to fill out, then indeed there is no place to arise for happiness. What I am trying to tell you, just take some time for you to spend some time with you, just to be friendly, just to be falling in love with your own nature, as I always say. So take a little step back and see what's going on here rather than there. Then you can see, oh, how much ignorant I am, and how much wise I am, and how far I could understand the Dhamma or not. Because we do not have such forms of evaluation and analysis or kind of self-judgment with regards to you, actually, not but anyone else. You should have kind of comparative analysis with regards to your own practice. That's why we cannot see, some people cannot see the ignorance as it is. Why? They see it as light. Why someone cannot see and perceive the suffering as suffering? They think suffering as a means of pleasure or contentment in life. Once you have got such kind of conditional and judgmental understanding, then you cannot move on. You cannot see through that, because you have already set it up. You have already preconceived assumptions and understanding in response to certain objects in the material world. Then there is no need to go ahead. Then whenever something comes to you, then you see, oh, that is this is that. You have already judged it. You have already decided it. But not at all. Take some time, and perhaps maybe you can reflect on it, then slowly move on. Therefore, the Buddha himself stated that we need to, if you are willing to see that, if you are willing to see the truth in an ignorant world, then what should you do? Idang dukkhanti yogo karaniyo. You should really try to see that. Yogo karaniyo, you should put into practice. Without practice, you cannot learn it. You cannot understand it. There is no need to take, gigantic steps into it. Just make little steps. Try to learn with little things. That's more than enough. But we always kind of postpone. We always kind of cast aside little things for the sake of greater depth or wisdom. But you cannot never learn or understand great truth through the great theories and philosophies. The great wisdom always arises with little things, but we always lose them. We always just forget about them, little things. Not at all. If you are really keen about the truth in your life, then just be more concerned and be more mindful about little things that happen in your life. Even your every footstep, your hand gesture, your momentary thought, even just a single momentary thought is more than enough to see the depth of our life. But we always kind of neglect it because we think that is not enough. If you want to awaken to truth, then there should be some sorts of profound and more sophisticated paths to realize it. But by no means you can gain it. It is obviously here, but the more it closer to you, the more you lose it. If it is far away from you, then indeed perhaps you will move on to it. But due to such closeness, such close connectivity with you and the truth, you always miss it out. you cannot see it. There is another nice story that telling us this closeness of the truth, but due to ignorance and perhaps our misunderstanding of things, we always lose it. This story comes from Zen Buddhism. It said, the man in the fog. One day, there was a man who is trying to setting out a journey early in the morning, but the day was filled with the fog and craggy, misty surroundings. So, however, regardless of that, he started the journey, but suddenly he was confronted with a very foggy environment, and suddenly he had to stop the vehicle, and he cannot see anymore. It is fully clouded with the fog. What he did is, he just going around just like a circle. Then after a while, the sun arose. With the sunrise, he saw the path. Path was just in front of him, just right ahead of him. But he always missed making wrong turns. Why? Due to the fog. Even the path was just right before him, he couldn't get through it. He couldn't see it, but with the sunrise, he saw it. Then he easily got through it. I feel in the same vein, we always miss the path, miss the message, and miss the opportunity to learn, grow, and to understand the truth due to such obstacles. So perhaps our life is very much equivalent to that story. We all have got such a worthwhile Dhamma. That is obviously with us, in our hands. But what happens is, we just learn, we just study, but never put into practice, then we cannot get through it. Just like the fog, we always make wrong turns. Then we cannot achieve the truth. So we are always in such an illusionary world, making wrong turns just right in front of the path. So you can see the Buddha himself advised us most often actually with two terms. Whenever he says such spiritual practices, two key terms, that's more important: bhavita and bahulikata. Bhavita means well developed. Bahulikata means well practiced. Now you can question yourself, do you have a developed mind? Do you have a well practiced mind? If you haven't, then we are obviously falling in the clutches of this ignorant world. If you want to go through it and see through it, the truth, with ignorance, then we should start practicing and developing the mind. Indeed, that's why you are here today, and we are attending such things. If you think in that way, you can imagine that our mind or our life is perhaps just like a garden. To see the truth, then we need to kind of take care of our mind. Just like taking care of a garden, just like you're tidying up your room and your premises. If you do not, what will happen to them? If you do not clean your room, if you do not tidy up your garden, what will happen to it? Would it still be pleasant to you? Would it still be nice to you? No. If your mind is just like a garden, if you do not take care of it, if you do not water it, and weeds indeed start growing up, then there is no space, perhaps pull them out. So in the same way, if you do not develop your mind, not pay much attention to it, then your mind becomes worse and worse day by day. Why? You are not paying attention. You are not concentrating as necessary. So just think like a garden. The more you take care of it, the more you keep it clean. Then it would be, pleasant every day. So if you really want to keep a pleasant mind for today and always, then please keep up the good practice and always keep an eye on it. What's happening here? What's going on here? You should have a clear-cut view and very vivid and lucid understanding of the environment. If you have it, then that's all right. But most of people do not have it. Then what happens? We are always disturbed and distracted by many trivial things in our life. Always. If you can move on towards the truth, then that's all right. But we cannot. Though we know it, that's the problem. As we discussed last session, you can remember, on the basis of our conditional nature of life, we are pretty much conditioned with certain things. Then we do not tend to move on. So that leads us to 0% progress of our life. So all in all, what we are trying to understand here, it's all about truth and ignorance. But through the practice of mindfulness meditation, so that is the paraphernalia, that is the way to see that. If you cannot see it, there is no chance. At least to make a chance, then you need to be a little more aware, little more mindful about your nature. Just keep an eye on it. I know that you cannot attain it at a canter because it takes quite a bit of practice. But if you do not start it today, you cannot gain it forever. If you just make a little step towards that, at least you can gain it tomorrow or day after tomorrow or one day in future. Then thinking of that, we should start it. So if we conclude this introductory talk before our practical session, we discussed the two key terms, ignorance and truth. So we learned that ignorance simply means not understanding the truth as it is. Today, what we discussed in brief, this is the general idea of ignorance. What we say, the world is ignorant. The reason is that, bluntly, many people have no such understanding, or this as a form of suffering. They say this as a place of satisfaction or place of sensual indulgence, and all kind of worldly matters. But at the same time, we need to see the impermanence, the suffering, and the absence of eternal essence of that. That is truth. So that's how we see them. In order for someone to see that, you need to slow for a moment, slow a little bit. The more you slow, the more you see. And also think of your mind just as a garden. If you can think so, I believe that you should be fine. And to wind up, There is a nice analogy in the meditative tradition. We used to say our consciousness is always like the blue sky. Our thoughts, our emotions and feelings are just like clouds. They are just floating around here and there and here and now. So if you can see that, if you can stay and remain focused and more concentrated on any circumstances in life, you are not at a state, you are indeed in a safe and healthy mode. But if you are not, then that's terrible. Why? If you get angry, if you get angry, you can just imagine your thought as a piece of cloud. Just be patient with that moment. It comes and goes in that way. The world itself is an illusion, a kind of delusion, due to the reason that all the mental objects that we rejoice in life are subject to decay and fall away. They arise and then fall away. But unfortunately, we are attached to them, thinking that they are permanent, saying, as we discussed, this is me, mine and myself. So no need to that. Just think as clouds. They come and go, then you are here. So then ultimately you can perhaps meditate upon it. I am also vanishing day by day, arising and vanishing. So this is how we should make a skillful maneuver, at least to begin with, to see, to live in an ignorant world, but with an eye of the truth.